Hello friends, as you know, if there's something I enjoy analyzing, it's when we watch an interesting video, for example, as we've discussed in Daniel Sancho's case, about body language. It tells you things that perhaps words don't. In this case, a psychologist sent us something that may escape our notice but not hers, the body language in the last video. In it, she talks about being diagnosed with cancer and undergoing preventive chemotherapy. Let's see exactly what this girl has to say about it because she clarifies some things that might escape us, not being psychologists. It's curious how body language says things that Middleton didn't say with words. So, folks, if you're ready, let's begin and dive into the channel. It's called Mary Fair Centeno. So, let's react to this video, which is quite interesting, and very natural, with her dog there. Hello, how are you? Good evening. Today's news is very sad. Kate Middleton announces she has cancer. This news leaves us all shocked, explaining her disappearance for so many months in the secrecy. I want us to look at the body language because there are many comments saying this isn't true, it's an act. We've actually seen her previous video in the farm shop, the store, and it doesn't match at all with her current appearance. She looks extremely thin in that video, and in the latest one, she looks like always, thin but normal. It just doesn't make sense. The royal family wouldn't do that to generate empathy. I think that would be the lowest. Let's see Kate Middleton's body language because I think it's worth shedding light on this issue. Look at Kate Middleton's face when she says the surgery was successful. It's a face of concern, a face of sadness. If the surgery was truly successful, would her expression be like this? Now, listen to her tone of voice. It's friendly, sweet, and cordial. Now, notice when she says the word cancer. See, cancer is present. It's when she opens her mouth more, and it's much more noticeable on this side than on this side. What does this do to? Well, the brain works in a cross-shaped manner, so in one way or another, what she wants is to express herself, to say it, to tell it. Why does she move her hands so much? Because she's nervous, anxious, trying to control each of her gestures. It's incredible to what extent this is a science. It might not be exact, but it's true that these are things we do unconsciously and that are studied. So, it's not inventing nonsense. This is pure psychology. A person underwent abdominal surgery in London, and at that moment, I want you to see how her gaze is deeply sad. Now, notice how her lips are completely straight, with the corners downturned. The corners downturn when we're sad. It's like her mouth is too flat, too. I don't know, like when you're feeling down and don't even have the slightest inclination to half smile. Obviously, she's recounting something serious, remembering what she's been through and what she's going through. She speaks about what her medical team advises her, and notice how she completely closes her eyes from the pain of talking about this difficulty she has in discussing it. It's a face of sadness, a face of fear. Also, notice how interesting it is when she speaks, it's like a great shock, and William and I. They speak totally as a team, which tells us that they are a real couple. This might debunk the Rose Hanbury issue, or not. We don't know. It might slightly debunk the Rose Hanbury issue or not in the sense that, okay, maybe she's not denying it, but they do form a team, and maybe that's forgiven. In that case, if it were true that there has been some kind of relationship between them recently, not just a royal couple from the point of view of being royalty but from the authentic, the honest, she's talking about them when she could have said, I told the prince or my husband. No, she mentions them as a unit. Yes, that caught my attention at the time. We already commented on that, how she was speaking as if they were together in this, like they were a team. She made that clear, and yes, that struck me. I didn't miss that. For the sake of our family, notice how when she says for the sake of our family, she looks totally sad. It's obvious that anything related to family, to children, in a bad moment, well, yes, it produces sadness. Of course, she would like to say, well, it's all over, let's have a drink and celebrate. No, it's not like that. Time to recover from surgery. This means she's still not ready from a medical standpoint. What does this do to? Well, the brain works in a cross-shaped manner, so in one way or another, what she wants is to express herself, to say it, to tell it. Why does she move her hands so much? Because she's nervous, anxious, trying to control each of her gestures. It's incredible to what extent this is a science. It might not be exact, but it's true that these are things we do unconsciously and that are studied. So, she's not making up nonsense, this is pure psychology. She underwent abdominal surgery in London, and at that moment, her gaze is deeply sad. Now, look at how her lips are completely straight, downturned, which happens when we're sad. It's like her mouth is too flat, like when you're feeling down and there's not even a hint of wanting to smile. She's obviously talking about something serious, recalling what she's been through and what she's going through. It's not pleasant. She talks about what her medical team advises her, and notice how she completely closes her eyes from the pain of talking about it. The difficulty she faces in discussing this is a face of sadness, a face of fear too. It's interesting when she speaks about it, like a big shock. In William and I, they speak as a team, which tells us they are a real couple. Does this contradict the rumors about Rose Hanbury? We don't know. It might debunk the idea that there's been some kind of relationship between them. They're not just a royal couple from the perspective of royalty but from the authentic, the honest. She's speaking of them as a unit. That caught my attention. She's clearly indicating they're together in this, as a team. For the sake of our family. When she says this, she looks completely sad, understandably. Everything related to family and children in a tough moment naturally brings sadness. Of course, she would like to say, it's all over now, let's move on and celebrate, but it's not like that. She's still recovering from surgery, which means she's not ready yet from a medical standpoint, probably for a major surgery. Look at her, it's a strong gaze, but one of great sadness, but above all, of great exhaustion. It's not the sparkle we're used to seeing in Kate Middleton. It's a sad announcement. We hope you understand, as family. Sorry. And she also thanks each person for their love, their understanding. Here's the ring she always wears, in a protective posture, in a closed posture, taking care of herself. There was much talk about the famous edited photo where she wasn't wearing the ring. Well, here's the ring, it's visible now. She's extremely nervous, rubbing her hands, being careful about what she's saying. Her hands describe this nervousness, this anxiety. But it's normal, after all, she's talking about her own illness, her family, how tough things are. Her movements are fast and constant. This is Catherine Middleton's handwriting. Look, it's close to the calligraphic model, completely legible. So, she's a person who presents herself as she is, adapts to the conditions. The handwriting seems to also indicate things about the person. This seems incredible to me. I have my own way of learning, I don't have good handwriting for notes and such. I've never had good handwriting, and I don't know if that's relevant for a psychologist to say if someone is open, closed, or whatnot. Toward the right, it's a sensitive person, meticulous, observant. The handwriting slightly slopes downwards, as if there's a certain degree of sadness or melancholy. She's a very disciplined person, very observant, highly influenced, guided more by what should be than what is. Why do I say this? Because Middleton is bigger than Catherine. What do you think? I'm Mayor for Centeno, and we wish her all the best. I know some might ask, why wish her the best? Well, because she's a human being, and she has little children and a life ahead of her. What do you think? Thanks for everything. See you at Grafo Café, Campeche 228, Colonia Condesa, and Cerro de la Juventud 130, Colonia Churubusco. Or if you want to study as a graphology expert, body language, or send me your signature, or come to Grafo Café with your handwriting. Grafo Café, you can come whenever you want. Well, we'll leave it here. She's doing quite a promotion. I wanted to see a bit of it after reacting to her channel, but I think that's enough. You know what the channel is called if you want to follow her. And, nothing, folks, I like these things. She made a very natural video at home with her dog, telling things as they are, without much preparation. Despite having almost 500,000 followers, it was interesting. Some things she said were very sad in what she sees in her body language, her hands, stress, anxiety, nervousness, a lot of sadness regarding her family when she alludes to them, and above all, very importantly, a lot of unity to finish this brief summary of what we've seen. A lot of unity with William, important as a team, which debunks a lot of the information that's come out about Rose Hanbury, or at least it would say that it's not true that William is leading a double life today. It wouldn't make any sense because, in the end, this would be known. Well, folks, see you in the next video. Waiting for your comments. Regards.